Hi everyone, welcome to this Watershed Planning Program training on developing work plans that work. I'm Marie Caduta, one of the Watershed Planners. And the purpose of this training is to provide partners with information on how Tactical Basin Plan Support grant agreements are to be developed going forward and how they'll be evaluated. It also covers what these agreements need to have included in them, and we're working to have this process well defined so that we can have finalized work plans and contracts in place as the fiscal year begins. What we want to cover in this training are the funding for and the purpose of the work plans and what partners this applies to. We'll look at the process improvement procedure that we've gone through. We'll give an overview of the new process, and we'll talk about the work plan itself, how it will be developed, how the plans will be evaluated and delivered, and finally we'll give you a timeline on getting all these tasks completed. The funding we have is focused on supporting the tactical basin planning process, meaning plan development and coordination of implementation efforts that you are all doing. Funding for individual projects like project development, design, and implementation are going to continue through the current block grant programs that are in place. There's a total of $650,000 available to support all the partners, and the allocations are going to be made based on the priority of the tasks that each work plan is proposing to address. This process was developed through a number of meetings between 3 of the planners and 3 partner representatives, 1 representative from each of the statutory partners. And although 1 representative was chosen from each partner, we do understand that 1 person can't represent the entirety of each group. The discussions we had identified several recommendations that are reflected in the new work plan development cycle, and these are focused on training, like this one, to provide information on how work plan development is going to happen. We found that we needed to standardize the work plan itself and provide a reporting template and clear timeframes and deadlines for when things are due. We identified the core tasks that all partners do and trying to provide equitable funding for each partner doing the same task. And this is a targeted strategic planning process. And what we mean by that is it's focused on finding and identifying those high priority tasks for each individual basin based on where that basin is in the planning cycle, whether it's in development or implementation or it's in a reporting cycle. You want to make sure that all those phases are addressed. So going forward, work plan development will be done through this cyclical process, done on an annual basis, to complete contracts on a timely schedule for everyone. The Watershed Planner will initiate the discussions with partners to identify what the basin plan needs are for the upcoming year based on where that plan is in the planning cycle, and looking back to review what the basin plan report card is saying and what the status is of the tactical basin plan strategies and actions. Roles and responsibilities of each partner will be discussed during regional coordination meetings so we can avoid any overlap or duplication of tasks between partners. And then each partner will draft an annual work plan to address the needs that we've agreed to. The draft plan will get submitted to the Watershed Planning Program, and the program will prioritize and select the most important tasks in each basin. And the funding is going to be allocated based on those priority tasks matched up to the funding that we have. Grant contracts will follow and written to focus on those tasks. And finally, toward the end of each cycle, work plan success is going to be evaluated to inform the next cycle as we go into identifying what's needed for the next work plan. And with that, I will leave it to Ben to go into detail on developing the work plans themselves.
Thanks, Marie. Now I'm going to walk through the work plan development steps. The first step in the work plan development process is annual work plan meetings. So regional coordination meetings held by Tactical Basin Planners and partners are an opportunity to discuss partner roles and capacities to support Tactical Basin Plan development, the implementation priorities over the next year, and specifically opportunities for collaborative efforts among partners or the identification of lead partners in implementing Tactical Basin Plan strategies. After the regional coordination meetings, it's recommended that you reach out to your Tactical Basin Planner to talk about work plan priorities. Tasks should tie back to the development or implementation of a Tactical Basin Plan or support Basin Water Quality Council participation. Task narratives to describe work should be clear and concise. Funding required to complete each task can be estimated based on a formula for hourly rates and costs, or just provide the total cost. Outcomes and deliverables of the proposed tasks should be clearly stated to demonstrate the impact of the proposed work. Work plan tasks are broken down into core funding tasks and program-specific tasks. Core tasks are central to Tactical Basin Plan work and are the same for all partners. The core task narrative, outcome, deliverables, and default funding levels are included in the template, but should be revised if these differ for your expected work. The core task default funding levels represent the typical level of work for a task, but partners can request funding above the core funding level, but should provide additional narrative to justify additional expense. Watershed planners will score the impact of funding above core funding levels against other tasks. The core funding tasks include regional coordination that supports meetings with other statutory partners and watershed planners to support the coordination of Tactical Basin Plan implementation efforts, as well as work plan development for the next Tactical Basin Plan agreement. The Tactical Basin Plan development task provides funding for partners to support Tactical Basin Plan content development, as well as engaging constituents in the Tactical Basin planning process, including hosting and facilitating meetings. Basin Water Quality Council participation provides support for attending basin water quality meetings and discussions, as well as trainings. Program reporting includes quarterly reports that describe progress in meeting outcomes for each task, as well as any adjustments to work plans needed and plans for the next quarter. And RPCs have a small amount of funding to coordinate the hosting and tracking of clean water signs. There are several reasons you may adjust core funding amounts, such as if you're playing a primary role in the Tactical Basin Plan development or covering multiple basins that are active in Tactical Basin planning, or if the time frame or coverage for your basins is limited, and so you may request a smaller amount of money in those cases. There are several program-specific tasks in the work plan that will be unique to each partner and are optional. These include sector-based work group coordination to advance specific goals and strategies of the Tactical Basin Plan, outreach and technical assistance to support coordinated, relevant, and targeted educational program, and technical assistance to implement Tactical Basin Plan strategies. Note, this task does not support project development, which is supported through the Project Development Block Grant. Water quality monitoring, outreach and coordination, which supports water quality monitoring efforts prioritized in Tactical Basin Plans, including planning and support for water quality monitoring efforts, analysis, and outreach to communities. Municipal plan bylaw support in coordination with the state's river program staff to provide technical and planning support and outreach to assist municipalities with municipal bylaw updates focused on river corridor regulations consistent with DEC model hazard area bylaws. Additional considerations in filling out the program's specific tasks include: these tasks should have a specific narrative to capture the planned work under this task, as well as specific outcomes related to the Tactical Basin Plan. Add a new deliverable if it is different than the standard reporting deliverable in the quarterly report, such as a BIF file or link to a success story on a local web page. Create a new task row when proposing two distinct tasks under one task category, where these are substantial efforts, distinct. There are several minor changes for the state fiscal year 2023 work plan template. These include updated language around water quality monitoring and assessments, the removal of task 3B for regional planning commissions, in addition of language to support technical support for municipalities regarding projects. The new template requires a specific basin to be selected for each task to support an evaluation of regional equity. And a separate column was added to show core funding levels, so partners need to add the total cost for each task, including core tasks, in the total funding column. There were also several changes to the core funding levels. Regional coordination core funding was set to $2,000 for all basins. Basin Water Quality Council core funding was increased to $2,300, and $300 was added for all partners, even those that are not on a Basin Water Quality Council, to participate in Act 76 training. Several partners have asked about funding for alternates, which are not covered for the $2,300 in core funding for Basin Water Quality Council member participation. Alternates can use $300 to attend a meeting or training, or may use regional coordination funding for Basin Water Quality Council meetings where there is a specific topic of interest. Once work plans are received by Watershed Planners, they will begin the Workplan Prioritization process. Each Watershed Planner will score individual tasks based on the impact, cost, and clarity in the Workplan template. Partners that highlight outcomes will help planners rate the impact of the work that is proposed. The timeline for state fiscal year 2023 work plan agreements was having the work plan templates released on April 12th. We have question and answer sessions scheduled for May 2nd and May 9th, and work plans will be due on May 12th. This will provide Watershed Planners with 2 weeks to score all of the tasks in the proposed work plans. The selected tasks will be used to finalize budgets for each of the statutory partners by mid-June, which will support the completion of grant signatures by the end of June so that grants can begin on July 1st.
Hey folks, it's Watershed Planner Danielle Lazarski here to wrap up this presentation. At this point, you should know how Tactical Basin Plan Support grant agreements are to be developed, how they will be evaluated, and what these agreements need to have included in them. We will be having 2 Q&A sessions, question and answer sessions, that will be 30 minutes each. These will be held on Mondays from 3:30 to 4 p.m. on May 2nd and May 9th. So we hope to see you there. And also, we appreciate your feedback on this presentation training video. You can scan the QR code in the top left-hand side of the presentation screen. You can do this by using your smartphone and opening up the photo and scanning it, or maybe you have a QR code scanner. But please fill out the survey. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes. and it helps us to measure our effectiveness. There is also a question box in the survey that will be used to prepare for our Q&A sessions. So please, if you have questions that popped up while you were watching this, fill those in, and that will help us to prepare for the Q&A sessions. Again, thank you for your attendance, watching this training video, and I can't wait to get to work with you all, and that goes for all us basin planners. So thanks.